Hello everyone, welcome to this week's Gran Turismo 7 Daily Race and Stratch Guide. We're off to Sardegna Road Track A in reverse, and we are in Group 3 machinery for what is the first time we're actually doing this combination for Daily Race C. And you're going all the way back to round about exactly 1 year ago to the last time we actually used a Sardegna track for Daily Race C as well. Getting into the finer settings, we've got 12 laps to get round, tyre wear at ×5, fuel at ×2. We've got the racing soft and the medium tyres available. Nice to have multiple tyres in the race. Both compounds are of course mandatory. BOP is on, damage is light, it's a rolling start, and slipstream is custom. For your settings allowed, you just have the brake balance. So credit where credit is due to Polyphony Digital once again in giving us what is a relatively fresh combination for Daily Race C. Now this video is coming around about 24 hours later than I would normally try and get this video out. That's just a case of life getting in the way, but I did manage to jump on and get a couple of races done yesterday around about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And in the first race, which is going to feature mostly in this video, we have jumped into an old favourite of ours, one of my personal favourite Group 3 cars, maybe probably even my favourite Group 3 car, the Toyota FT1. It's not a car you see very often in daily races because it really isn't that competitive. Most people, and I guess PD as well, want people, if they're driving a Toyota, they want them in the Supra. But coming into turn 1 there is a corner where you're going to see a lot of chaos on lap 1 and probably on many other laps as well, and no exception as this race gets underway, as a couple of cars have found themselves pointing in the right direction. Now we took turn 1 very cautiously indeed, and yeah, the rolling start in this one, the kind of nature of the track means that the cars, as you can see, especially towards the back of the grid, are very close together and jostling for position, which is something I do like to see at the beginning of a race. We don't always get that in Gran Turismo 7 with the rolling starts, often case spreading the cars out a little bit more than they do here at Sardegna Road Track A in reverse. Another car getting sent into the barrier there, going to allow us to move up into P16, the Porsche that was guilty of that waiting up on them, and then allowing us to move up into P13. So not the worst start we'll ever see, but I was very quickly to find out that this car is not very competitive. We're going to gain another position there with a car serving a penalty, the penalty zone starting just at the beginning of the third sector. But yeah, the Toyota FT1, sadly I have to say, turned out to be a real handful to drive, and sadly very uncompetitive against the cars that seem to be the meta for this week, that being the Genesis X. The Porsche looks pretty strong as well, and looks like the BMW might be up there as well given its phenomenal cornering speed. Coming into turn 1 here for the second time, you're going to see another couple of casualties, Sparks Fury being one of them in the Porsche, getting taken around the outside there as well by Toby in the Genesis there. That Genesis acceleration is just a little bit crazy in this one. Not entirely sure what was going on there. There did seem to be some animosity going on in this race at the beginning, but thankfully we've managed to avoid the majority of it to move up into P11. We'll jump forward here to lap 5, coming into turn 2 for the 5th time. The Porsche kind of making that sort of overtake that I don't particularly like, and I will say this track does invite people to go for optimistic overtakes, so do be prepared for that. You're going to have the radar up because people do like to go for a little bit of a send. So let's jump forward here to lap 6. We're going to do pretty much the optimal pit strategy here, pitting it right down the middle. We're going to come into the pits, we're going to get off these medium tyres, and we're going to put the soft tyres on. Now traditionally this is a track that did have a very fast turnaround back in GT Sport, and I do seem to remember having quite a quick turnaround in Gran Turismo 7 on the odd occasion when we have used it. In this case though, we're going to be stationary for 5.3 seconds, and when we come out the pits, your overall pit loss is going to be around about 20 seconds. Fuel is going to be no issue whatsoever, but what will be an issue at times is the way the cars rejoin the track from the pit lane into a very fast turn 1. It can cause carnage. I've seen it cause carnage already this week, so yeah, be aware when you come out the pits. Take a look behind you, see what's going on, and try to not die by somebody just driving straight into the back of you. The pit exit here definitely can lead to some very dangerous situations. Definitely something that Polyphony Digital could maybe take a look at and try and review and adjust and make it a little bit better, because it's definitely not really suitable as is. I'm going to jump forward here to lap 8. We're running in P9. We're going to lose the position here to the Spanish driver in the Genesis. Now, I wasn't really trying to fight the Spanish driver there. I just kind of found myself on the inside of the right hand corner there. We got squeezed into the wall a little bit, I would suggest, and you know, me being me, wasn't particularly happy with that, but that driver was much quicker than me, and as you can see, as we jump forward here to lap 9, they have skipped ahead, and we've got the close attentions of Rory behind us. So coming into the last sequence of corners here, Rory goes for the move down the inside. Now I will be 100% honest, I did not see that at all. If you look back, you'll see the car actually squirmed quite heavily going into the braking zone. My full concentration was on trying to keep the car on the track, so apologies to Rory there, because I think he actually made quite a decent overtake attempt and we just basically turned in on him. But we fought on anyway, because you know, racing incidents will happen in our racing game, and we have managed to hold on and hold Rory behind us as we finish this one here. But the car, yeah, just way off the pace, absolutely at least a second, 1.3 seconds off the pace of even the Mazda RX Vision that we jumped into in the next race. Now this race was going okay, it was very messy at the beginning. You can see that by the fact we did a 1 minute 43 lap time, but we had moved up into P9 here at the start of lap 4, going into turn 2 before we got, well, I did say people like to go for optimistic overtaking manoeuvres on this one, and to be perfectly honest with you, when I hit the brakes I couldn't even see a car on my radar, so they came from a long way behind indeed. Now obviously just an accident, not meant by the Spanish driver. They waited up, we carried on, but it heavily compromised our race and we finished this one down in P13, albeit the Mazda had significantly better pace than the Toyota, but I still think it's probably a long way off the pace setter, which is definitely looking to be the Genesis X this week. But on a positive note, this is a good length of race, coming in at over 20 minutes. And unlike the race last week where you couldn't get into the following race, that's not going to be an issue here, thankfully. So let's move on to those all-important strategy options, and then we'll take a look about what is not working for me in this race. In terms of strategy though, your optimal strategy is going to be basically splitting it down the middle, or maybe going 1 lap longer on the medium tyres. So 6 soft, 6 medium, or 6 medium, 6 soft, but you could do 5 soft, 7 medium, or 7 medium, 5 soft. That looks like the best way to do it. Basically, a soft tyre that's done 6 laps is around about the same pace as a brand new medium. So optimal strategies is pretty much splitting it down the middle. There is an option for an undercut strategy, but not much really, to be perfectly honest with you. You know, you could do 5 medium, 7 soft, or you could be really risky and try to do 4 medium, 8 soft. Now we did 7 laps on the soft tyres in the Mazda without too much of an issue. It was definitely an 8 lap in that car, so it will be kind of car specific to the ones that can do the undercut strategy. But yeah, the soft tyres are very, very fragile. They do kind of lose performance quite quickly, so if you do go for that undercut strategy and obviously try and, you know, jump some cars, you know, get ahead of them, you are going to be suffering towards the end of the race. What I am noticing though, now that we're getting some multiple tyre compound races for Daily Race C, is that whilst the tyre wear model is significantly better than it was before the last change to it, there is still some heavy limitations to the strategy, because you're still fighting against running out of tyres rather than running out of pace. So your undercut strategies are not anywhere near as big or as flexible or as usable as they were back in the GT Sport days, or indeed the early GT7 days. But the biggest problem for me in this race, and this will come as no surprise to anyone, is that custom slipstream. It is way too strong. This was a slipstream track anyway, even without custom slipstream, but you spend the majority of this race looking behind you. The pull that the cars behind you are getting just makes this race, for me, not a massive amount of fun so far. But that's what I've got to say on this one. Thank you for watching, folks, and I'll catch you on the next one. Goodbye now.